Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Shadow and Bone, Season 1, Episode 7, The Unsea, which is another name for the Fold, which is where you have the true sea that Alina referenced. And oh my goodness, we are getting towards the final events of the Shadow and Bone book. I've got no idea what the crows are going to get up to. I'm so excited. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and you get those 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go. He builds on his myth that he cannot be killed. Grisha have been treated wrong, and it's the sort of treatment that creates villains, but it doesn't excuse any of his actions now. This is horrible. It doesn't excuse becoming a murderous villain, but it's very horrible. Yep.
We need to safeguard all, Grisha. We need to teach them how to fight.
Most Grisha aren't fighters. They fix things, they make things.
Yep. You turn them into warriors.
Can we make an army?
The small science feeds as Merzost feeds on us. I forbid it.
Ooh.
You hear me?
I don't know that forbidding it's going to do any good. Obviously not, but it's so fascinating because he really is a villain that you understand what pushes him to the point, but this is a risk not worth taking, and I don't know, there are other ways of doing things. You don't have to force every child into the army, and I don't think this power's good for you. He was pushed to this point, but he still made stupid decisions and has since not learnt from them. Hello, Volcra. Just imagine just living your life and that comes towards you.
I made something.
Oh goody, I'm glad you feel good about this.
I was going to tell you to trust Kaz and that he never let you go back, but I don't have the right to tell you what you should do with your shot at freedom.
Nope. Oh.
You make this a lot harder, you know.
Oh. There it is in all its glory. The Darkling's about to appear.
Maybe there's another way to do this.
Oh. Oof. Don't let your guard down.
You have to kill it.
It's dying anyway at this rate.
You have to.
Oof.
You said you would hurt him!
Bring the Eternals.
Yes, sir.
You murderer! You stupid fool!
Heal him.
You need him as leverage.
Kazbreaker finally believes in saints.
Grisha.
Just said that.
I said Alina Starkov is a Grisha with the power to manipulate light. She's a girl with a gift, not some savior of law.
Fine.
It's a step in edge.
If not saints, what do you believe in?
Myself.
Why'd I even ask?
And you. And Jasper. My crows. They also remember those who are kind. They tell each other who to look after and who to watch out for. No saint ever watched over me.
This is so vulnerable for Kaz.
I can't go back to the menagerie.
You won't.
He would never let you.
What happens next is up to you.
None of this has been up to me.
Nope.
We can protect our own.
But you only mean Grisha. You don't mean innocent people too.
Are we destroying the fold?
We can do anything.
You should now have full access to all of them.
David!
This is my power.
This is horrible. Oh, Alina. How can any Grisha accept this is right?
Little palace hasn't been the same without you. I tried to warn you. Be careful of powerful men.
He gifted you to the Queen and the King.
Previous women. My letters to Mal. You never sent them.
Yeah.
I had no choice, except that you did. And you chose to betray our friendship. Over my chance of revenge. To finally bring him a fight that he cannot fend off.
I know, sweetheart, but
I
the
never expected
Darkling gave you to him and knew what was happening.
The king deserves every bit of your vengeance. But Kerrigan does not deserve your loyalty.
He doesn't. He gave you to them.
Just as responsible. We are his pawns.
Yeah, please.
No more.
Genya is in an impossible position, but it's the truth. More alone than ever.
Skiff.
Not the same general who tries to. Oh, yeah. Killer's room. That one.
He
Mm-hmm.
has this.
Are we talking about boarding a skiff with people who will recognize us? People we don't like as much.
We'll have to blend it.
You never truly appreciated who she is. It's all right. Because I do.
Yeah, you're turning her into a slave. You totally appreciate her.
Because I'm the one she chose.
You are a child.
You are a creepy old man.
I'm not going to kill you, Mel. I don't need to.
Ugh, I hate him.
Time will do it for me.
Oh my goodness, everything is happening. Milo? Oh my god, it's Milo. Come on, good little comfort goat. Good old Milo.
You are special.
Yeah,
You do know that.
nothing to do with you. Trying to make her a slave.
The world continuing to serve such a king would make me a traitor to my country.
You gave Genya to him.
Then you're a martyr.
It's why I built the little palace in the first place. Everything that I have done, everything that I have
But non-Grisha matter too.
has been to make Ravka safer, to make Grisha safer.
Do you think Genya was safe when you placed her under the king's
Uh-huh.
Exploit it for their own gain.
You put this collar on me to exploit my power for
You
your
did. No, but there's no us if she doesn't consent to it.
You could have made me your equal.
But instead she'll always be better than you. Maybe you started off with good aims, but you have lost them. Go jump in a tree and die.
Make me your villain.
You made yourself the villain when you know you've created the Fold, you've done a lot of other murders. I suppose you wouldn't necessarily think anyone would want to fake.
Amazing for my age. Well, I thought you looked older.
No, who's gonna fake trying to get across the Fold? Alina.
Except this time we're going in completely exposed.
Mm-hmm.
No mourners.
No funerals.
No mourners and no funerals. He loves the fold. Oh my god, so much happened. So much happened. Where to even begin, obviously. One place to begin is Alina and Mal being captured by the Darkling, David helping to place the collar around her neck, Jenya being revealed as having hidden the letters and known the Darkling was potentially trying to isolate her and scheme against her. All of these betrayals and shocks were things I had been waiting for, I had been knowing were coming. Jenya, I truly, like, she breaks my heart. I can understand why she made the decision she did, but and the desperation to get out from that situation, but once you're poisoning the king, do you really need to betray Alina? I can understand it. They haven't really made too much of an explanation about her white kefta in the show. If anyone here is a book reader, I'm very sorry. But she was given that because she was just a tailor. She was just the queen's little tailor. The other Grisha treated her with a bit of disdain. They didn't think she was as good as them because she was that. And on top of that, she was being raped by the king. You can understand why she did anything she could to get out of that situation. The worst thing is, I think, like, she was building a friendship with Alina, but that's probably why she said that she warned her about dangerous men, powerful men. I think Alina just thought she meant the king. And then it's so hard because the Darkling is the head of the Grisha. He is the only one you can follow. He's the one that gave her a way out, but at the same time, he is the one that put her in that position. He knew what was happening and could have done something to stop it long ago, but he didn't. So it's heartbreaking, but you know, it's good that Alina did hold her to account. Like, she didn't be like, oh, you're a vile witch, how could you do that? I could never understand, but she was still like, that was wrong. David, similarly, he is awkward. He doesn't quite know how to be around people, like how to socially interact very well. He's a bit in awe of the Darkling, but you could tell he knew what he was doing was wrong. Mal, being saved by Milo the goat, 10 out of 10. The collar, it's just even worse than what I pictured. Like, I pictured it as kind of just being like a necklace that was sort of fused to the skin, but was mostly a necklace. I'd never pictured it being so inside of her. And given that has been done to her against her will, yes, she wanted to take some kind of amplifier from it, but that was done against her will. It was done to give a man, the Darkling, control over her. It's just so sickening. You know, the thought of, like, it's a collar around her neck. Rather than if she'd done it herself, it could have been a symbol of her own power. And he now has control over her magic. Small science, over her Grisha powers. And that is just, I hate him so much. And it's just seeing the beginning, seeing his story, seeing how the Fold came to be. He is a sympathetic character in a lot of ways. He was someone that was being persecuted, that was trying to fight back. But when he made the Fold, what he was doing was very clearly, he didn't intend for it to cause the huge blight, but he was tapping into things he shouldn't have done. He probably could have just used his power and cut them all in half or something, which wouldn't have been great, but they were persecuting him. And I guess you never know what caused that king to start going after him. Maybe it was simply his fear of having someone so powerful so close to the throne, or maybe the Darkling made a play for the throne then like he is now. My biggest issue with the Darkling is, well, first of all, the people he's killed and is willing to kill, but it's also the way he uses, well, there's actually a couple of things. He uses and manipulates people. You can see that in Zoya. Now, Zoya is a very complicated character that she was his favourite, and he used her when he needed comfort. The minute Alina came along, she was out the window, not important. Get lost. That shows you, in a way, his attitude towards other people, including his Grisha. Zoya is an incredibly powerful scholar. He could be proud of her and be trying to protect her, but he used her. The fact that he put Jenya in that position, he does not care about Grisha as much as his own power and his own protection, whatever he tries to tell himself. And maybe he started off as truly caring for Grisha, but that's not where he is now. And where he is now is he cares about Grisha, but he doesn't care about the Ozkazatsia, the ordinary people. He would kill every single one of them if it meant Grisha got to be safe. Now, there are prejudiced people among them, my god, are there? Like, that's no excuse. you can't kill them. I mean, I could say every single person that vote Trump or Tory and is racist and bigoted or whatever, kill them. Of course not. You kind of need to start re-educating, and it's a whole process. It's a lot more work than just murdering everyone. But he is not a good person. And I'm scared because he is played by Ben Barnes, who is beautiful but also a phenomenal actor who is selling this part wholeheartedly. It's just wrong. In so many ways, Alina could have been a fresh start for him. Alina could have been a chance for him to finally undo his biggest mistake and fix the error of his ways, stop using people and start doing things differently, but instead he is using her to the highest degree. So I feel sympathy for the Darkling in some of what he's suffered, but he is not a good man, and I'm stressed. The Crows, the scene with Kaz and Inez, where he let down some of his walls about what crows aren't just vengeful, they also look out for people, and that he, he relies on her and on Jasper. It just was really emotional because for Kaz, he keeps those walls up to here. He never lets anything out. And him admitting that Alina was a Grisha, that, it wasn't fake. Yeah, he's never going to admit it's a saint, but he's not religious. I mean, the saints were all just Grisha, so I'm personally not religious either, even in this world. But he didn't belittle Inesh's faith, he was just like, I don't share it, which I think is fine. I really enjoyed that scene between them. They have a long way to go. Inej has a lot to think about and to deal with, but I believe him when he says she will not go back to the menagerie. I truly do believe him. I think if there was anything he would do, he would never send her back there. Also, Jasper and Inej's little moment when she was telling him she was going to leave was very sweet as well, and him saying that he would tell her to trust Kaz, but he would never presume to tell her what to do with her own freedom. I really enjoyed that line. There was no Nina and Matthias this episode. Don't know what they're up to, but I don't know if maybe that's it for them, or we're just going to meet them. I feel like we're probably going to see a conclusion of their backstory in the next episode, but there's a lot of other stuff that has to happen in the next episode. Mal, and that scene with him and the Darkling, where the Darkling is clearly very threatened by him, for the simple fact that he took the time to go and see him. If he thought he was that insignificant, he wouldn't have bothered. And yeah, it's true that Alina will live a very long time, but he valued people who were going to live short lifetimes too. Even if, they had that discussion and she was like, you'd live for 100 years. And he was like, oh, you bless your heart, you think that's a long time. But he valued her, even though she was going to die. I know she was Grisha, but he just thinks so little of Alina as well, that she would break her morals, change what she believes in, be brainwashed by him after everything he's done, to her specifically, as well as to everybody else. Oh my goodness. I can't believe there's only one episode left of this show. I've been so excited for it for so long, and it is genuinely so good. I think season 2 is going to be even bigger and even better. There are more characters that are going to come in, just the plot lines get even bigger and better, and I'm so excited. But there is one episode left. I will see you next week. A reminder that you can find the unedited version on my Patreon, 2 weeks in advance, edited version 1 week in advance, so it's all up there right now if you're watching this on YouTube. And thank you so much for watching.